Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea to get you into a Memorial Day weekend. I will be honest, you slide in on a Friday, many people are off today. We were very fortunate we were fully staffed because the world fell apart in the vicinity of 4 a.m. And then 7 a.m., President Trump put out two extraordinary sets of tweets on Apple computer manufacturing in India, and then, of course, in the European Union. All of us centered around David Weston's important conversation with the Secretary of Treasury, 12 noonish today. We were so fortunate. We made our luck. Barry Eichengreen of Berkeley scheduled in his very early West Coast morning. He is the giant of international economics. Ken Rogoff mentions him in his new book, My Book of the Summer. Here is Barry Eichengreen on the fragile dollar.
I think the dollar has been tarnished significantly since Liberation Day. Its safe haven status is eroding more quickly than before. I've long thought that the dollar would have to share the international stage with other currencies. I didn't think that process would accelerate so dramatically this year. I think that the markets have responded to the 90-day pause in the UK deal by thinking that the period of elevated uncertainty is over. And exactly as you said before, uncertainty and the spike in the VIX continue. We haven't really seen that spill over into distress in financial markets. But I think that distress could be coming. I think what's happening in the crypto sphere could spill over into mainstream financial markets. There's a lot to worry about that hasn't materialized.
From the University of California at Berkeley, iconic Barry Eichengreen. I will try this weekend to get out a select set of his books. Exorbitant Privilege was a wonderful short treatise on the U.S. dollar. And, of course, his classic book from decades ago, Golden Fetters, defined the 20th century of gold. Defining the equity market. What a joy this morning to speak to Emily Roland of John Hancock. She really pushed against a lot of the fears, maybe the sum of all our fears, if you will. An optimistic Emily Roland of John Hancock.
Investors are really trading on feelings and not facts. This is a sentiment-driven market, whether it's sell everything U.S., whether that's stocks, bonds, dollars. But when you look underneath the hood at the facts, earnings growth, most importantly to us. In the U.S., we just saw Q1 earnings come in at 14%. 9% is what analysts are penciling in for the year. You look over at Europe, earnings growth this quarter was negative 8%. And analysts are revising down earnings estimates to around 3% in Europe. You look at the macro backdrop. In the United States, growth is holding in. The Citi Economic Surprise Index is actually perking up. The hard data is coming in positive. We're seeing the opposite happen in Europe as their data is coming in weaker. Growth is struggling overseas. Yet you've seen this massive capital rotation out of the U.S. into Europe. We would fade it and use those proceeds to invest in the United States.
Emily Roland with a different view there from so many we heard. She's in strategy at John Hancock. Really has been right the last 24, 36 months about the ability to buy quality and large cap growth in America. She stays with that theme today. Right now in your commute across the nation, Apple Android coming on strong. Thank you for that. One thing I learned this week, shout out to PIMCO for a wonderful event earlier this week. And I learned there, Sirius XM, channel 121, it's older technology and people are wedded to it. They like it a lot. We thank you on Sirius XM for listening every day. On YouTube, subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts and, of course, out at YouTube Podcasts. It's single best idea.